Well, welcome back. Earlier, I had the chance to talk to another very special person, Cora Jakes Coleman. Now, she's the eldest daughter of Bishop T.D. Jakes, and I'm sure you've heard of him. He's a very popular speaker and pastor there in Texas. And she's authored a book entitled Faithing It. Kind of an interesting title, Faithing It. So join me now as we talk to Cora. Well, what a delight for us to have with us today, Cora Jakes Coleman. Now, you may recognize the middle name, but in her own right, she's a preacher, a singer, an author, a wife, a mother, and she leaps tall buildings. She outruns locomotives. And her dad just happens to be Bishop T.D. Jakes. Hi, Cora. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Oh, doing great. Listen, I don't know what you were singing there before we went on the air, but you were kind of moving and grooving there. What were you singing?
Something off the top of my head.
Nice to have you with it. Boy, you do a lot of things. First of all, what is your role in your dad's church? What do you do there at the Potter's House?
I'm the children's ministry director here at our main campus.
Wow, good for you. So you oversee a lot going on. How many children do you oversee?
We have about 700 to 800 kids.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
All right, Faithing It. I love the title. It suggests it's facing it with faith, but I don't know. I don't want to steal your thunder, but Faithing It, what an incredible title. What do you mean by it?
I came up with Faithing It actually as a fluke. I was typing it in on my computer as a blog post for my blog, and they kept correcting me, and I was like, surely faithing is a word. Like, it makes sense to me. And it turned out that it wasn't a word, but I was just led to just go ahead and go with it. I hadn't heard anyone use it before. And so at the time when I was writing my blog, it was about really facing the obstacles of life with faith instead of fear. And so we often face our obstacles with fear because we're just not really sure about the power of the purpose that's inside of us. And so Faithing It is really about really honing into that purpose inside of you and using your faith to combat the obstacles that happen in our lives every day.
Well, bless your heart. Now, people would ask the question, have you had hard times growing up in the spotlight of a very famous dad?
Absolutely. I feel like it's unfair because so many people will ask me that or say that, surely you haven't gone through anything. And I actually feel like those of us who are living in the fishbowl go through way more than those who aren't, because all of our mistakes and all of our conditions are seen quicker than those who aren't in the fishbowl. So as a young girl, I faced molestation at my elementary school. I was almost raped. Through my younger relationships from maybe the age of 14 up until 17, I was physically, emotionally, and mentally abused. At the age of 19, I was abused by my boyfriend and raped in my apartment. And then later on to find out that I was battling infertility with my amazing husband. So I've gone through a lot of stuff. I feel like I've experienced maybe 30 years of an average woman's life in maybe 15 years.
Wow. So growing up in a household of faith, you had to find faith for yourself.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Through the obstacles. I've always been, there's 5 of us. So I have 3 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm in the middle. And so I feel like I kind of held as the balance in between the olders and the youngers. And so they always look to me to kind of say, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. So we'd get faced with storms and obstacles in our family, and I would always be the first person to say, everything's going to be fine. And so I learned early that I had to develop my relationship with faith, because it was me saying and speaking that everything that was going to be fine, and really believing healing, that everything was going to be fine, that's what brought life to it. That's what made it fine. And so learning early, like, okay, whatever I speak comes to pass according to my belief in it. And so I learned very early that I had power to speak life or death, and I just always landed on life.
Good for you. Where does prayer play into your, I say play into, what part is prayer in your message on faithing it?
It's kind of weird because I never really thought that I was gonna be like a prayer like I am. People used to tell me that I was an intercessor when I was little, and I was like, no, I like to pray. I think it's pretty cool, but as far as gifting, nah. Even as a little girl, I was saying, my mom commented on my Instagram the other day and said, at my kindergarten graduation, I grabbed the mic and I said, I'm Cora Jakes, and when I grow up, I'm going to be a preacher just like my daddy. And so I always thought I would preach, and prayer just ended up being a gift that God gave me to be able to shift and help the world. And I believe that because prayer is that communication and very intimate communication with God, that it develops that relationship with God. And that's where faith comes in, because faith is truly just trusting and believing in God's ability to do a thing. And so in order to know that God can, you have to know God. And so that's how I get to know God, through my prayer and reading his word.
Well, I got to say, it appears that there's some of your daddy's gift in you.
What they say. But I wouldn't knock my mom either. I'm a very good mixture of the both of them.
What do you want people to get from this book, Cora?
I want them to take away that they're stronger than the enemy, and that how they perceive the enemy is how they will receive him. And so I want people to perceive the enemy as a non-factor and really go after their purpose and their fight with all of their might, with tenacity, believing that they can overcome the world if they just try. And so I believe that's what they'll take away from the book. I think that as God has anointed me as the David, that faithing it is like the stone for the world to knock out their Goliaths of life.
In your lowest moments, did you ever think you could experience the Jesus that your daddy preaches about?
Yes, in my lowest moments was the moments that I received and felt God the most. In my lowest moments, it was almost feeling God over hearing him was what I needed, just to know that he was there. I think so many people get accustomed to, I want to hear from God, I want to hear from God, I want to hear from God. As a young girl and in my lowest moments, I really didn't want to hear from God. I just wanted to know that he was there. And so I experienced God's presence, and it gives me the refreshing that I need in order to combat and continue moving forward. Because I know he said yes. I know that I'm going to have a child. I know that my promise will be fulfilled. So as long as he's by me, I'm good.
You're a delight. So it appears that you're getting bolder and bolder. Is that true?
Yep, that's what they say.
Okay. And what is next for you? I mean, it obviously you preach, you sing, you write. What's next for you?
Hopefully babies. I already have two amazingly God-given babies, or God gifts, I call them, my son and my daughter. And so I would really love for faithing it, for my babies to be the evidence of what faithing it can do. I would love to be able to get a win for faith. And so I hope and pray that would be my next move, that the next time I'm talking to you, I've got a big, huge belly, and I've got babies coming, because I think that the world needs a win. And I believe that after they get faithing it and they really start believing God for their promises, and then they get to see that he did it for me, and they'll believe that he can do it for them also.
Oh, that's very inspiring. Let me ask you this. Back to the fishbowl for a moment. Was it difficult growing up in the spotlight?
It was difficult from the world perspective because there's a high expectation when you are Bishop Jakes and First Lady Jakes' daughter. You have a very high expectation, and it's very rare that people want to know who you are. I learned very quickly that people would give me a label before they were interested in learning my name. And so that was very hard. Losing myself for the sake of people's expectation and perspective of me was hard. But at home, absolutely not. My father and mother made our home our safe haven, our safe place. I'm a homebody right now because my parents did an amazing job in just making us feel safe and at home. And so it was hard out there, but at home, it was home.
Good for you. All right, I'm almost out of time. You're a singer. What song is on your heart today? Give us a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that is not even the talent in which I operate in. God is able. God is able. God is able, and He won't fail.
You are a delight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's hook up again after you have a whole bunch of babies, okay?
That sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Cora.
Thank you.
Something I didn't expect in that interview. All right, stick around. We got another great guest coming up in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Paulina, and I work at theDove TV. Did you know that when you support theDove TV, you have a profound impact, not only in our community, but around the world? It's your continued support that takes the inspiration and hope in the programs we produce and makes them available to the thousands of people who are watching these videos online every week. Help bring encouragement and hope to our valley and beyond by making a secure online donation today at our website, thedove.us.